Hello everybody, and this is part 2 of my Let's Build a PC. I'm going to call it that. So the first thing on the agenda is we are going to do case preparation. This may not be needed if your case comes with your motherboard stand-ups already made, or you, this is just basic stuff you want to do. So I'm going to get this case open and we can start our case preparation. Alright, so I've got the left side cover and the right side cover off. If you need to know anything about your case, refer to your motherboard. I keep saying motherboard. Case manual will tell you everything you need to know. So first thing we're gonna do is get our motherboard standoffs. Since this case does not come with them already on them, so we have to put them on ourselves. So refer to your manual and let's look real quick. Mine is an ATX board, and we will need, and as it says, we will need holes 1. There's numbers right in here, so 1, 3, I need to find 1, 3, 4, 5, yeah, that's 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so what we're going to do here is open this up and find our motherboard standoffs. Alright, so I have got our 9 motherboard standoff screws, and we will now install them on the different spots. Alright, as you can see, we have all 9 motherboard standoffs on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, next is we are going to install the optical drive, which is right underneath all of this stuff. We will install this. Alright, so how you install this, as what I read was, just have to remove this part and squeeze that out. Boom. And now we need to take our optical drive and insert it and should here. Make sure these are unlocked. And there we go. We use the mechanism right here. You push, when it's unlocked like this, you push down and over, and it locks it in. There we go. Just don't break anything when you do that. Now, we will be mounting, keep it. Now we will mount our power supply, which goes right here. So let's move these cables out of the way. Now there's raised rubberized feet, a filter on the bottom, and there's a foam padding here. This case supports whichever way you flip the power supply. So you need to make sure when I get the power supply out. Before I handle these components, I'm going to put my anti-static wristband on, just because I don't want to have to pay anything. Even though I have a 5-year warranty, I just don't want to pay for shipping and all that right now. So equip it somewhere, equip it elsewhere. Well, you take your power supply, I clip this, and take it out of your wrapper. And as you can see, there's your logo. And we want the fan on the bottom, so this is how it's going to sit. This goes to the back since this is the exhaust. This goes inside for your cables. So we are going to mount this right here, right like that. Alright, so now let's install these power supply screws. Make sure your power supply is in there. There we go. And now you attach screws. Make sure when you screw them, screw it snug, then go to an opposite corner. And then go to another one, and then screw till it's snug, and then do the opposite one on the other side. You don't not want to tighten it very tight because you do not want to strip the screws in the. Do not use an electric screwdriver. Use a hand screw like this. So now we have got our power supply mounted right here. It's all screwed in and everything. So now what we need to do next is we will use the motherboard and we'll put everything together and show you what it would look like on the motherboard, and then we'll put the motherboard in the case. If you recall, this is everything that came with your motherboard. You have your motherboard, which is an anti-static wrap right now. You have got your user guide right here. You've got a nice door hanger right here that says, "I'm sorry, busy gaming," and then the other side is, "I'm not here." We have got your utilities and drivers disc, your I/O shield for the back of your case. SATA ports, it looks like you get 2 SATA ports. You get your, this is a quick installation guide right here. And this is a case badge that you can put on wherever. Alright, so we have got the motherboard, which I will remove once again from our plastic wrap. And right here, as you can see, you have your this would be 2 USB ports and a PS port for a keyboard or mouse, an older version. This is your, let me see it. I really do not know what that is for. I didn't look at the manual deep enough, I guess. These are VGA and DVI. This is Ethernet, and 2 more is 2 USB 3 right here, 2 USB 3, HDMI, and then your audio ports right here. So on here on the board you have got your 3 PCI Express 3.0 slots. You've got your 4 PCI Express 2x1 slots, and when you use graphics cards, you use this one first, then this one, then this one. This runs at times 16. If you run 2, this is times 8 times 8. If you run 3, it's times 8 times 4 times 4. So next, you have your 6 SATA 6 GB per second, but if you use this M SATA port right here, it will take up the 6th slot, which is this one right here. Just refer to your manual to know which slot is which. Alright, so next we have your LGA 1150 socket right here. Has a little pin that push down and out, and it just lifts right up. Do not touch any of this area because it has little pins, and if you bend a single one, your motherboard is done. Just push back down, and boom, it's in. You have got your 4 RAM slots that support 8 GB per slot. Alright, so now you have got 5 fans. You have got your first CPU fan header here, CPU fan header here. You have got 3 more, which would be right here, here, and I just saw it, and here. Then you have all your various other ports that I will not go into because there's other people that go much more detail into this. You have got also another thing you might find cool. It's Dragon head heat sinks, and you got a nice Dragon logo right here. Alright, so now we will install the processor, which is right here. So when you install the processor, you need to drop it in. Let me get this out real quick. You need to drop it in perfectly straight and don't wiggle it, just put it in. And when you put it in, grab it by the edges. Now there's triangles and dots and a notch cut out that will line it up perfectly with your CPU socket. I removed the thing here. What it tells you to do in the instruction manual is you open this, and when you put the CPU thing, this will just pop right out, but you can pull this out if you want to. So now we will take out the CPU fan, which looks like this. Set that aside because we don't need it at the moment. And then take out our precious CPU, which is right here. So when you handle this, do not touch the bottom and do not touch the top. Right now it's in a plastic coating, so you can kind of touch it, but I would not recommend. So let me get this open. And grab the processor. It's a little bit, and I might pull this retaining bracket back and line this thing up. Look for your keys on your motherboard and it will tell you how you need to line this up. So what you want to do is you want to set it carefully. I'm sorry, I'm concentrating. Into your thing, don't press down on it. Put your retaining bracket down. Make sure it's under that screw. Hold it by the heatsink, and this is about, don't worry about putting pressure because that is how it holds that CPU in. Yeah, it's in. Alright, so that is what it looks like with the CPU in the motherboard. Next, we will install our RAM, not our CPU fan, because our RAM might get in the way of our slots, and now you forget which slot was which again, so let's refer back to the manual. And this is how you install the RAM. You pull back these little tabs on your motherboard, and it will snap right in. Now they only go one way because there is, I will show you in a second. Pop this out. I'm going to pop one out. There is a notch, and that only goes one way into your motherboard. So you line that up, and you put that in. Oops. Get one side snapped in, get the other side snapped in, and there you go. You've got one module of RAM. I'm surprised this fits my color scheme quite well. It has a glistering red just as well as these dragon. So next we will install it right here. One side, other side, click, click. There you go. And there is your RAM installed. Now this is what you want to do, just to see, I'm just showing you, you do not have to do an external build, but if you want to do an external build, you can, and then plug in your CPU supplemental and your power, and then plug in the power to your graphics card, set that. I'll show you how you can set that gently onto your motherboard, and you can do an external boot just to make sure. If you have a speaker, you can set up your speaker, and you'll do a post beep, and then you know you have all working parts. But I will not be doing that, so I will just show you real quickly how you set your graphics card in. Actually, first, before I do that, I'm actually going to do the CPU fan. So this is not the best fan you could use, but I didn't get a aftermarket CPU core, so I'm gonna have to deal with it right now. Maybe later I'll do a tutorial how you can change out. So you see this is thermal paste on the bottom. So orientate your motherboard how you want this to orientate. Usually you want this so you have your cable where it's accessible to your CPU fan. Alright, so there we go. And now you just line it up with the holes. And snap it in. Now do opposite corners. This is about as much pressure as you really want to put on your motherboard. And then you can grab it, if you did it right, by your CPU core, as I did do it right. That one's not in all the way. Yeah, it's in. Alright, then you want to connect it up to your CPU fan header, which is right here. If you're not sure which way, just look for the slots and notches and slide it on. There we go. Now, what I will do is I will install my storage on my PC, and I will set this aside. I probably should have done the storage before I did the motherboard, but alright, so storage. There are some 2.5-inch drives like this. You will take your hard drive right here, take it out of its anti-static wrap, and there you have got your Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte hard drive. So I'm just figuring out that I can probably mount this like this. No. Like this. No. I will refer to my case manual now. It doesn't matter. So it's just how you want to wire your case. So I am going to face my data and connection to the back, and I will mount this like that. We are going to get our hard drive mounting screws, so that will be flat tops like this. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now this is a careful process, like you should always take care on all computer components. So just gently thumb screw it in a bit on all 4 mounting holes on here. Take your screwdriver and screw it in snug, no more than snug, and then go to the opposite. Go to the opposite side and screw it in just snug. Again, don't use electronic, like a drill to screw these in. Just do it thumb screws, not thumb screws, just use a hand screw, especially since you're a beginner and you're watching this, as I'm cutting myself with my knife. Alright, and there's your hard drive mounted. 4 screws on the back. So you just slide it in how your case goes. Slide in, snaps in, and we've got another one there. So next we will do our Samsung SSD. So with your SSD, you can take another one of these cages, which I'm going to take another random cage. Take your SSD out of its box. Find your 4 screws, and you will screw them in same as the motherboard. So let me find my 2.5-inch hard drive screws, which look like they are smaller. Alright guys, so I have the Samsung SSD installed, and I'm going to slide that in now. Alright, you're supposed to snap in. There we go. And now we will install our motherboard. Alright everyone, if you can see, there is, I'm going to have to detach myself, there is a motherboard I/O cutout right here, and we will need to install our I/O shield, which comes with your motherboard. So now you will line it up with how your motherboard goes in, like that, for mine at least, and you just snap it in. Don't worry about putting pressure on these things, as they are just pieces of metal. We will do this by turning the case on its side.
Yeah. You want to look at my emails?
Alright, there we go. Oops. Crushing my cable. So, when we do this, I'm going to move all of our cables out of the way. Take our motherboard, I will lift it by the heatsink, and place it on the standoffs. So these standoffs, make sure you don't crush any fan headers. Line up your I/O shield, and then you just have to take. Do not know the procedure for this, but I'm assuming you just take it and screw in certain ones and then go along. So I will start by this one. I will thumb tighten it a bit.
I don't see anything.
This is what it looks like after you have got all of your motherboard in. When you take your graphics card, you take it and you find out where your ports are, like this. Find out where it is going to sit roughly, and then take out the two thumb screws. Ooh. Alright, so be careful when you're doing that, as it looks like they are springs. And there we have got our two backings out. And now you take your graphics card and you slide it in. Alright, so guys, we have got our graphics card, our motherboard, our CPU, our RAM, our power supply, our hard drives, our disk drive, and I think I'm missing one more thing. Our CPU core right here. So right now I will route our Molex plug so we can connect power to our fans. So I will go plug that into our power supply and route that through the bottom here. We have got, it looks like 3, 4 Molex plugs on this cable. I will not use all 4. Probably could have used this one. I'm going to use this one because this one only has 3. Alright. So we do not need this Molex cable. Use what you need. Do not use excess, because unless we don't mind that cable management challenge. So I'm going to use as minimal cables as I can. And there we go. We've got 3 that we can plug in. So now we have next on our agenda, we have to plug in these to our Molex. And this is one Molex. And this is a second Molex that we will plug it in. squeeze these two tabs. And boom, we got one Molex connected. And we will have a second one in one moment. Goes this way, and alright, so there we go, we've got our Molex connected. And what's this to? Oh, this is to our last fan. Okay, so now for our LEDs right here, we have got our reset switch. Well, it's not all LEDs, it's reset switch, power switch, and then hard drive LED and your P plus and P minus LED. So I will quickly open up my motherboard guide and okay, well, first off, I know where they reset and power switch goes, so I will route those really quick. Turn this around and route these. So these go to the bottom, so let's route these to the bottom. And connect these on here. So our reset switch is our power switch is one of these two pins that I need to connect. And then our reset switch is right here. There we go, we've got our two cables routed. Our hard drive LED goes in the same spot, so I'll go route that quickly. Alright, there we go. And now we will plug this in to our hard drive LED switch. There we go. We've got our three cables routed, and now we need to route our power for our drives. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 connections for power for our hard drives. This one has 4. This one does have 4. And it goes 1, 2, 3. Yep, they both have 4. So we will take this and route them to the back where our hard drives will sit. I will do a quick recap after this. After I wire all these and show you what I do, and then we'll do cable management. So first off, let's plug this in to our peripheral and SATA connection. And we'll route these through here. Alright, so now our P plus and P minus switch. Alright, so our power, it's power plus and power minus switches right here. So, LEDs, so I'm going to go plug them in, and they go right next to our power switch. There we go, we've got them through. And now time to plug these in to here. Alright, there we go. We have got our power LEDs, power switch, reset switch, and the hard drive LED plugged in right here. So next would be store these cables away. There we go, and we'll stuff this up where it can be stored while it is not used. Okay, so we do need one more power cable, and that will go to our disk drive. So let's get this routed from our power supply up to our disk drive. So next would be our data cable for our disk drive. I don't think I have enough data cables. Alright, so since there is a little mishap where I need to go out and get another data cable, which I am ill-equipped right now, I did not notice, I will go out and get one tonight and finish up this video. But right now, let's mount our case badges. You don't have to do this, but I am, because I want to show off. So we have got our MSI Gaming Series case badge, which I'll mount on this top right here on one of these fins. So I will just peel off the backing. This is self-explanatory, and stick it on my case. Sure it's free of dust. There's one. Then we have our RAM case badge, so that's G-Skill RAM. So I'll put that on top. There we go. We've got our G-Skill. Now we have our Intel case badge right here. I'm going to go put that on. Right next to my G-Skill. And then now we have our Samsung SSD hard drive one. I have two, but I'm only going to use one, so put that on the other side. And last but not least, we have our Powered by Corsair badge, which I will put on the other side on our last fin, and then I'll show you what this all looks like. And there we go. So I will now show you what it looks like. There we got our Samsung, G-Skill, MSI Gaming Series, Intel Core i5, and Corsair Powered by Corsair badge. Intel, MSI, G-Skill, Samsung. So this is what it looks like so far. Drives, fan, disk drive, cables, front of the case, all of our stuff. Right here I'll show you. So we have our fan speed controller, our audio microphone, two USB 2.0, two USB 3.0, eSATA, and our second fan speed controller, and reset right here, power right here. This THOR logo lights up, and I believe this lights up, and these lights up. This fan will light up right around here. This is the jumble of cables. It's a lot. So, and this is the back. If you're wondering, there's your I/O shield with all your ports and your graphics card port and the rest in your power supply. Alright everyone, so if you look here, I just got a new SATA cable, nice pink one, because I needed my disk drive connected. Unfortunately this is up to 3 GB per second, but I'll live with that because I'm not going to be using my disk drive much. Oops, don't need that. So I'm going to open this and route my cable to my, hopefully it's long enough, route it to my disk drive. So we're going to connect this up. Alright, so we will route this out the back and up through the top. And you know what? This will be the first thing we connect because it's easy to find. Into there. There we go. Now let's connect our power to that. So, let's route our power cable through this bottom portion and we'll come out through the top. Alright, so we have this coming through. This power cable coming through, and we're going to hook it up into our disk drive. There we go. There, our disk drive is connected. And now we will route to our hard drive. So let me flip this around real quick. You'll see the ugly mess of cables again. And we'll wire up our hard drive right here and our SSD right here. So we have our data cables right here. We will connect one data cable here. There's one, and another one here. There's two. Then we'll connect our power cable right here. That's one. Is two. So we have data and power connected to our storage now. So now we will organize these wires. Alright, so there's something. I should probably unplug and rewire like this. And since this is such a big giant mess of cable, and it'll take me a while to cable manage all this, I will bring you back when I will be connecting this last cable and I'll show you what it will look like in the final product. Alright everyone, this is my wire management. I mean, you may be able to do a better job, but after all that, it will all lay flat and no one looks in the back anyways, so I'm just concerned about these molds plugs right here. Just probably stuff them through here. No. I'm gonna make sure they lay flat. Alright, so there we go. That is my cable management, as I said earlier, just a second ago. And now we will put the back cover on. Let's see if this works, which it should. There we go. We have got our cables managed to the best of my ability. Alright, so we have got our insides all done. So now all we have to do is connect up this side. Oh, I'll show you a test boot real quick before I close this up. We can take this, set it there, and I'll plug in power supply as so. And ready, set. There we go. Fan for ventilation. The other side fan moving here, blowing air in. And I can turn my fan controllers and it controls them. Well, so, one cool thing about this case is that we have got these light up. Let me flip the light switch. There you go. And I thought that I did. Guess I didn't plug in that LED. So now I will plug in that LED real quick and we'll be right back. And there you go. You have got your red LED fan on the front. Front red there. Awful cable management with your red LED there. And the inside was still semi-awful cable management. So I'll be right back. So I will show you how I found an external hard drive that I'm going to use right here. And I'm going to put my files on. So what you do is for since mine's an MSI, I am going to go to the MSI website right there. And then you go to your service support and download. This is if yours is an MSI. You do a download filter. And since mine's a motherboard, then you do Intel platform and yada 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 for whatever yours are, for whatever your motherboard is. And so, since I already have that, here's my MSI drivers right here. So, I am going to plug my USB thing, transfer over to my other computer, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have got my USB drive done, and we will boot up the PC and then plug it in. Here's my PC, Splash logo. Fast startup, and let's log on. Alright, so I'm going to open file view folder. I'm going to scroll down to my MSI, or find my MSI drivers. And I will download these. So that is one way you can download them. Other than that, use the utilities disk and all that fun stuff, or you just download over the internet. So